Tonight on Star City, this weekend was a busy one for Lincoln Police. We have the details.
And if you have yet to do your holiday shopping, we have a good idea of a place to start.
Plus, John has you covered on what to expect in weather this week, and in sports, the latest on Nebraska basketball.
Star City News starts now.
Live from Lincoln, Nebraska, this is Star City News.
Good evening and welcome to Star City News. I'm Madeline Gottschall.
And I'm Connor Dunn, and here are tonight's top stories. A local coin dealership was robbed for the second time in 6 months last night. Tammy Bain has more.
John Damaris was expecting just another Monday as a coin dealer at Lincoln's Coinery, located on Cotner Boulevard in the Piedmont Shopping Center. But at 1 a.m. on Monday morning, police were called to the coinery, where a robber broke into the window, broke a case, took some coins, cash, and collectibles before fleeing.
Employees will be documenting the theft loss, so we do not have totals at this time. The damage amount is estimated at $1,400.
It's the coinery's second robbery this year. 6 months ago, the robber threw a cement block through the door, which has since been replaced with resistant glass. Damaris said the damage, like the remaining dent inside from that same cement block, is where the real damage and expenses lie.
When somebody breaks into a shop like this and smash and grab something and run, they generally don't have much time to figure out what they want, and they also generally don't know what they're looking for. And so much of the time they do more damage than the value of the things that they steal.
At other dealership shops, security remains a concern, but at Timeless Treasures on O Street, Bob Beckman said it's been taken care of.
At nighttime when we do leave, we do have a security alarm system that's activated, and as far as expensive stuff like coins or certain jewelry items that are more expensive, we'll take and we'll put away.
As for Damaris, there's already a lead on his prime suspect.
Fortunately, the business does have video surveillance. It captured a white male, 20 to 25 years of age, 6 foot to 6 foot 3 inches tall, 175 to 190 pounds.
Reporting for Star City News, I'm Tammy Bain.
And Damaris says the next step will be contacting Coinery's insurance company, and he's hopeful for the future. A series of vandalisms took place in southeast Lincoln early this morning. Police say about $1,500 in damage has been done to 12 mailboxes and 6 cars between 14th and 33rd Streets. LPD says a baseball bat likely caused the damage to the mailboxes, and police are also investigating a possible connection to BB gun vandalisms in that same area. There are no suspects or witnesses in this case. Lincoln police are also investigating the death of a 47-year-old transient, George Ike. They went to the 900th block of Saunders Street around 2 p.m. on Saturday when they were called about an intoxicated man passed out behind a building.
He was transported to the hospital. At the hospital, he made comments to emergency room staff that he'd been hit by a car, and then later changed his story and said that he had been assaulted. At approximately 8:30 p.m., he was pronounced deceased.
Officer Flood also says Ike did have fresh wounds, including a broken pelvis and broken ribs. If anyone has any information, they're encouraged to call Crime Stoppers at 402-475-3600.
The Lancaster County Sheriff's Department wants you to be aware of a phone scam asking for your credit card information to pay off warrants. So far, 3 people have been contacted at random asking for their card numbers to pay off outstanding warrants to avoid appearing in court. Sheriff Terry Wegner says the people called seem to have been picked at random.
So there's no monetary loss to any of the citizens, but I think everybody needs to be aware that we do on occasion call people that have outstanding warrants, but we are not going to ask for credit card information to pay a fine, and we're going to make arrangements with them to take care of the warrant, but it's not going to be over the phone via credit cards.
Wegner says the caller has a southern accent and says they are a lieutenant, which should be a tip-off because that position doesn't exist in the Lancaster County Sheriff Office. Sex trafficking isn't just a problem in major cities and third world countries, it happens in Nebraska too. That was proven by Operation Cross Country. The FBI and local law enforcement agencies have busted over more than 150 pimps and rescued 105 from trafficking worldwide. In Nebraska, there were 33 arrests. Here in the capital city, 7.
Human trafficking is everywhere, and it's not a seen crime. So most people think because they don't see it, it doesn't exist. And we always think of the third world and the refugees coming over or the people across the border. But truly, it is everywhere. It's a supply-demand model. So wherever there's demand, there's a supply. And USA happens to be a demand location.
UNL professor Sirianni Tidball says that laws need to be put in place to protect the victims, not the buyers. Major sporting events including Husker games and the College World Series are a couple of examples where trafficking takes place. A Nebraska task force is currently working on addressing the problem.
After a short break, we'll give you a look at what defines cheating in a world filled with limitless internet options.
Love Library on the University of Nebraska-Lincoln's city campus is home to over 4 million books and hundreds of other resources. Let Love Library help you on your academic journey. So stop in today and see what Love Library has to offer you.
Where do you want to go? What do you want to do? Visit the Education Abroad office or go online to find out more information. Education Abroad. Go big, go abroad.
Can't get enough of the Huskers on Saturday? Then join the Nebraska Alumni Association every Friday before a home game for Football Fridays. It's fun for the whole family, with food, prizes, and more. Hear what the Husker experts predict for the big game and meet fellow Husker fans. Held at the Nebraska Champions Club across the street from Memorial Stadium. Free parking is available and the doors open at 4:30 p.m. So what are you waiting for? Check out huskeralum.org/football-Fridays for more information, and go Big Red.
Join us for our live play-by-play broadcast of Husker Sports on 90.3 KRNU.
Oh, baby! Touchdown, Nebraska! Has Kyler Reed in it. He catches it for a touchdown!
Our student staff is dedicated to bringing you the best information along with top-of-the-line play-by-play broadcasting.
Has a man deep, and it is caught! Oh, baby! Touchdown reception from Osborne!
90.3 KRNU.
A professor at UNL has accused 11 of his students of cheating for using information easily found with a simple Google search. Star City's Jenna James looked into just how available these documents are and if it's really considered cheating to use them for classes.
Have you ever cheated on a test?
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I have.
If any of these confessed cheaters were in UNL communication professor William Seiler's class, they'd have to own up to the consequences.
If they get caught, they'll end up failing the course.
But they wouldn't just flunk his class. They could face misconduct charges.
Break down and cry, and I honestly did after I talked to him because I had no other thought process other than I am helpless.
Helpless, this girl says, because she is one of the students Professor Seiler accused of cheating. Because her case is still pending, she doesn't want to be identified. I'll call her Sarah.
I know it's not true, and I know that I'm innocent.
She says the professor has accused many students of cheating for using an online test bank. It's a collection of questions from the professor's previous exams, and they're available online for anyone to see and use. In this case, it was a publisher's copy of the bank sold to an independent website.
The student, I think, paid $40 for it, and you can go online and see exactly where he purchased it.
The only thing Professor Seiler had to do to catch some of his cheaters was check social media.
We've received tweets where they've said to one another, I have the test bank, I can get it to you.
Test banks aren't the only thing out there for students. From YouTube videos,
you can actually etch your answers into the side of the pencil using an X-Acto knife,
to step-by-step guides on cheating.
You need to know how to cheat on any test.
The internet age has made it easier for students to access almost anything they can imagine.
So let's say it's 3 a.m. and I have a Cold War paper due at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. Think I can get it done in 5 hours? Give me just 5 minutes.
I found a website where you can push any key on the keyboard and it will pull information from the internet to add to your paper.
And now, 5 minutes later, I've got my essay ready to turn in.
Is this really cheating? If a student finds something online, is it okay to show it to others? Dean of Students Matthew Hecker says it's a gray area and depends on what's in the class syllabus.
If you share that with others, and I haven't given any restrictions about that, then it's hard to make a case, a subsequent case for academic dishonesty.
Dean Hecker has handled many academic dishonesty cases. He follows UNL's Student Code of Conduct, which lists using unauthorized materials as cheating. Professor Seiler thinks his syllabus covers test banks as unauthorized, and therefore anyone using it is being dishonest.
It doesn't say test bank, but having access to test items, it does say that in the course syllabus.
And for Sarah, she thinks it's unfair she's on trial just because something is available online.
The fact that technically we had access to it, we're in trouble.
Sarah's next step will be to make her case.
He believes that he has one person that has said one thing about me, and I'm willing to fight that.
Professor Seiler says he's leaving the final say up to the courts.
But I'm not the judge here.
Reporting in Lincoln, I'm Jenna Janes.
Over the next few weeks, Sarah as well as other students will present their appeals to UNL's Communication Department. If they cannot reach an agreement there, it will go to judicial review. University of Nebraska-Lincoln President James Milliken is looking at a tuition plan that would encourage students to take more credit hours per semester. Block tuition would charge students a flat rate for taking a set number of hours, so students taking more credit hours wouldn't be punished with greater costs. Milliken says this is being considered to improve timely degree completion, but didn't say when a plan proposal would be made.
And UNL libraries may soon be keeping its doors open for longer hours. Every Sunday through Thursday, Love Library South is open until midnight, but members of the student government are asking university officials for an extension to 1 a.m. for students who need a place to study later at night.
I think that'd be a good idea because sometimes people have big projects due and then they can keep working through the night if they kind of pushed it off or if it ended up taking longer than they thought. So if you're working and you have to leave at midnight, then that kind of disrupts it and maybe you don't really have a better place to go study. So I think it'd be a good change.
Out of all Big Ten universities, 6 of their libraries are open 24 hours a day or past midnight on weekdays.
There are plenty of events going on this week for UNL students to attend. UNL Math Day is celebrating its 23rd anniversary. More than 1,400 students from 100 high schools will meet at UNL on Thursday to participate in different competitions throughout the day. On Tuesday, you have the chance to catch the percussion ensemble at Kimball Recital Hall. General admission is $5. For students, the price is cut to $3. Nebraska has 2 chances to beat Iowa in the next couple of weeks. The first is this week at the Corn Bowl Blood Drive Challenge. Call 402-486-9414 to sign up, and don't forget a photo ID. On Friday, the University Theater presents Middletown, a humorous look at small American towns, something Nebraska students might know a bit about. The show runs from 7:30 to 9:30 p.m. Tickets are available at the Lead Center ticket office.
A rare strain of meningitis is taking its toll on students at Princeton University. 7 undergraduate students have been infected thus far, and medical officials are warning students to keep their saliva to themselves. There is no vaccine for this particular strain that has been approved in the United States, but students there don't seem to be worried.
I could be the 8th person, but at the same time, there's like a high percentage that I never get it, and so, yeah, I think I would just have to know more information before I could make a decision.
And the Food and Drug Administration has given its thumbs up on an unimproved vaccine being imported into the U.S. for the Princeton students.
Game day traffic might have been second to traffic on exit 432 to Gretna this Saturday. Nebraska Crossings Outlet Mall opened Friday and saw thousands of shoppers by the end of the weekend. Each store offered 30 to 70% off of items. I saw some pretty creative parking while at the mall. Cars were parked across I-80 at the gas station Flying J and on the grass surrounding actual parking lots. An estimated $1 million of sales occurred on Friday, and they hope to sell $45 million by the end of December. And now let's take a quick look at what's happening around the nation with our national headlines. Wall Street is a pretty happy place today as stock market indexes hit new milestones. The Dow Jones Industrial Average crossed 16,000 points for the first time in history today. Economists attribute this to an improving U.S. economy. After admitting he has smoked crack cocaine, Toronto Mayor Rob Ford is fighting to keep his job. Last week, Toronto City Council stripped Ford of some of his duties. Ford insists he is not an addict and says he is receiving treatment.
You may remember him as the man who was acquitted of murder and manslaughter in the death of Trayvon Martin, and today George Zimmerman was charged with battery and criminal mischief in Central Florida. Zimmerman will be held in a Florida County Correctional Facility. And police forces in Paris are on a manhunt for a gunman related in 3 attacks on French news organizations and a bank that has occurred over the weekend into today. Coming up next with severe weather hits the Midwest, and John Hansen gives us a look at what is next and what you can expect in Lincoln. That and more after the break.
Visit the Nebraska History Museum and check out our website at nebraskahistory.org. The University of Nebraska-Lincoln Writing Center is here to help all UNL students with all of their writing needs. Located on UNL's city campus at Andrews Hall, there are plenty of people and other resources there to help. So stop in at 115 Andrews Hall today.
I want to be the most prepared for my future job.
Career Services is happy to help you.
The UNL Career Services staff is trained to help you tailor your resume and cover letters and prepare for job interviews. Find job opportunities on Husker HireLink, the online job search service. Practice your interview skills and gain feedback through mock interviews. Connect with employers face-to-face through on-campus interviews and career fairs. Walk-ins are welcome or make an appointment online. Located in the UNL City Union or online at unl.edu/.
You may think tornado season is over, but yesterday's weather took a turn for the worse throughout the Midwest. Star City's Sophie Tatum has the latest.
But I hope no one's hurt. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass.
Dozens of storms devastated parts of Illinois, Indiana, and various other Midwestern states this past Sunday, resulting in 8 confirmed deaths and an unimaginable amount of destruction.
The next door neighbor screaming, so I went in, their back window was busted out, so I went in there and hollered inside. They hollered back saying that they were trapped, but then husband was able to break through and get up to the top stairs. So.
Al Dutcher is the state climatologist for Nebraska.
A severe weather breakout like that we've seen is, at this time of the year, is fairly uncommon, but it's not rare. Typically, we'll see a super event like this in October and November about once a decade. Usually, unfortunately, when we do see tornadoes at this time of the year, they tend to be much stronger in magnitude.
The National Weather Service has now confirmed 2 EF4 tornadoes. However, in the next coming days, they will continue to survey the destruction.
Nobody in the United States, state-wise, is immune to tornadoes.
Lauren Pierce is a freshman at Illinois State University in Normal, Illinois. Pierce said large parts of the campus lost power for almost 4 hours from the severe weather.
There was a bunch of trees down, and a lot of the stoplights were out for a while. One of the girls in my sorority, her car, the front windshield is shattered because something hit it.
For more information on how to help out with the tornado victims' recovery, you can visit the Red Cross's website at redcross.org. Reporting for Star City News, I'm Sophie Tatum.
Dutcher says although the deaths from this disaster are tragic, this is an important lesson for all. He says it is important to take what the National Weather Service says seriously because its main intentions are to keep the public safe. Now to John Hansen with the weather.
Hello, I'm meteorologist John Hansen, and welcome to the weather. Current shot of outside right now, you can see very blue skies, very clear. Very beautiful fall day. They'll be getting pretty cold by the end of the week. The warm weather will not last too long. Taking a look at the almanac for today, a little bit warmer than usual. Today's high 57, low 36. Quite a bit warmer, not warm enough to make any records though. Taking a look at the current surface, we got lots of air masses circling around, warm and cold. It's creating a lot of swirling and a lot of high, fast winds. The current winds throughout the country, very, very windy over in the areas that were hit by the tornadoes recently. You can see it swirling down here in Kansas. That'll be coming up and hitting Lincoln sometime tomorrow. Today's forecast, temperatures throughout the country, very warm today throughout most of the country. Somewhat cold in the northwestern regions, but mostly everywhere is getting hit with upper 50s, lower 60s, and of course down in the southern parts of the country still hitting 80s and high 70s. Tonight's forecast, you can see everything cools down quite a bit, hitting 40s throughout most of the country, even into the 30s and 20s in the very northern parts of the country. This evening we're looking at about 47 degrees and clear, wind coming out of the south-southeast at about 6 miles an hour. Tonight looking at 39 degrees and clear, wind coming out of the south at 8 miles an hour. Then tomorrow 61 degrees, still pretty warm tomorrow, partly cloudy and very windy. We're looking at gusts of 23 miles an hour, all that wind's coming in and hitting us coming out of the south. Game day forecast in University Park, Pennsylvania, playing the Penn State Nittany Lions. The Huskers will be looking at some pretty cool temperatures up in Pennsylvania, tailgating around 11 o'clock, 25 degrees, mostly clear. Kickoff at about 2:30, 33 degrees, mostly clear. Wind coming out of the north-northwest at 9 miles an hour. And post-game, we're looking at 24 degrees, partly cloudy. Your 7-day forecast, 61 degrees tomorrow when it's getting real windy. Then on Wednesday, 60 degrees, still pretty warm, about 30% chance of rain. Overnight between Wednesday and Thursday, looking at a partial chance of snow. 37 degrees on Thursday, Friday 33 degrees. Everything's cooling off pretty quickly. Saturday 30 degrees, Sunday 36 degrees, coming back into Monday at 37 degrees. For Star City News, I'm meteorologist John Hansen.
Really wish I had a pet.
When looking for a pet, make the Capital Humane Society your first stop. There are a variety of pets to choose from, such as rabbits, cats, dogs, and much more. Pets from the Capital Humane Society are spayed or neutered, receive treatment for fleas, ticks, or mites, receive needed vaccinations and tests to keep the animals healthy, and are microchipped. It's much cheaper to adopt, so go to the Capital Humane Society to find your next best friend.
Every little girl just wants to be beautiful, but the images they are shown are unrealistic. They need someone to turn to for advice and encouragement. That's why the Big Brothers Big Sister program provides a positive relationship that can better a child's life forever. Be a big brother or a big sister today and be a positive role model that every child needs.
Working out is the ultimate stress reliever for college students. The University Rec Center is a state-of-the-art facility for both students and faculty to stay in shape. The City Campus Recreational Center features the Cook Pavilion, a climbing wall, swimming pool, and many cardio machines and free weights. Yoga, Pilates, and Zumba are just a few of the full calendar of group fitness classes offered at the Rec Center. So come on, walk in and work out.
Welcome back to Star City News.
Joining us on set is Star City's own Amanda Saltero with everything going on in Husker sports.
Before we jump to football, let's start with Nebraska men's basketball. The Huskers are now 3-0 after their biggest win so far this season, an 83-57 victory over South Carolina State. 5 Nebraska players had double-digit in points, including Ray Gallegos and Deverell Biggs, who played their first games of the season after serving suspension time for team violations. With the additional weapons now on offense, the Big Red will head to the Charleston Classic in Charleston, South Carolina, with the first opponent being the University of Massachusetts. Head coach Tim Miles talked about the challenges the Huskers will face against UMass.
Chaz Williams, our point guard, appears to be unguardable, in a lot of ways. Their length and athleticism, their ability to create turnovers, get to the boards. This week we're going to find out what we're made of, what we can do, whether it be UMass or UAB or New Mexico, just for starters. It's going to be, we're going to, have to play our best.
Nebraska's next home game won't be until the 30th of this month when the Big Red hosts Northern Illinois. Nebraska women's basketball returns to the Pinnacle Bank Arena this Thursday to host Arkansas Pine Bluff at 7 p.m. The Huskers return to Lincoln this week after a victory on the road Friday night against the Utah Utes in Salt Lake City, 75-69. Thursday and Sunday's games against Southern University can both be seen online at btn.com with a paid prescription. All right, now on to Nebraska football. We know the outcome of Saturday's game, and now the Huskers move forward to take on Penn State this Saturday at 2:30 p.m. Central Time. While Michigan State did clinch at least a share of the Big Ten Legends division, Nebraska's hopes are still not dashed just yet, although the odds of getting the other share of the division crown are very slim. Husker Nation may be hanging their heads after the loss and questioning the effectiveness of freshman quarterback Tommy Armstrong Jr., but head coach Bo Pelini says there will not be a change at the quarterback position.
Still believe in Tommy, still think he's going to be a really good football player for us, and he's young, he's a freshman. I mean, he's not going to be perfect, and he was disappointed yesterday, but because of that experience, it'll make him better down the line, and so our approach is no different. Tommy and maybe some Ronnie, and just dictated by how the football game goes.
To Nebraska volleyball now, and the high-flying Big Red volleyball machine is now running on an 8-game win streak after sweeping the weekend with a 3-0 win over Michigan State and a 3-1 victory over Michigan. Head coach John Cook talked about the upcoming schedule for the Huskers.
I looked at Purdue. They've lost 3 matches at home this year to Texas, Minnesota, and Penn State all in 5 games, so it doesn't get any easier for us. And then last year, Indiana, Indiana was at the bottom of the conference, but next thing I know, we're in the 5th game with them there. So it's not going to get any easier for us, and I've got to keep our team get them to understand that the ante goes up every week.
Nebraska will return to the Devaney Center for their final regular season on November 30th against the Penn State Lady Lions. That's all I have for sports.
Thanks, Amanda. That's all we have time for here tonight, but I'm Madeline Gottschall.
I'm Connor Dunn, and we'll see you next week.